Austin ASMR. Today I'm going to be doing a controller sounds video and limiting it to only Nintendo controllers. We've got almost every Nintendo home console controller sitting right next to me. I do not have an SNES controller. I've never owned an SNES, therefore do not own a controller. And I, for the life of me, could not find where my Wii U gamepad was. I do own one. It's somewhere in this house. I just couldn't find it. But aside from those two, I think we have everything since 1988 or whenever the NES came out. 85, okay. Alright, so without further ado, let's dive right into the Nintendo Entertainment System controller. Try not to slam this cord into my table. Okay. The NES controller is about as basic as a controller gets. It's got a D-pad, button A, and button B, as well as a start and select button, commonly used as pause buttons. And a about as non-ergonomic as it gets shape to it. Just a little rectangle. Now, I believe this was my mom's when she was a kid. Both my parents had one, but my dad sold his in favor of buying a Sega Genesis. He did not go to a Super Nintendo. He switched up. Hence why we do not own a SNES. I didn't play this a lot growing up. It wasn't until years later when I got into retro gaming a bit that I booted up some of the old games, even bought a few off eBay that were interesting. Like, I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan, and I got one of those original gold cartridge Zelda NES, or I don't know if that's the original, but it probably came out gray first. Maybe it was like the Game of the Year edition or something, but yeah, it's the original Legend of Zelda in a gold cartridge, and played through that. It was say so myself, compared to modern Zelda games. Very little direction it gives you. I will admit, I had to look up a few things, being stuck in a few places. My dad would tell me stories of him playing that game as a kid, and back then you couldn't Google where to go and what to do. So, at recess on the playgrounds, people would share their hidden tricks and discoveries. My dad said when he played Metroid, he and his brother sat down and tried mapping out the whole world as they were playing, so that if they died and had to start over, they would quickly run through where they knew they needed to go. Which, you don't really have to do that kind of stuff anymore these days. Also, being such a simple controller, there's not a lot to work with if you're a developer and want to have a multitude of actions in the game. So one skill that a lot of games required was button mashing. How fast you could press A or B or both, or the D-pad, any of the above. But speed is what ice hockey, I think, was one of his favorite games. And in that, when you and your opponent are fighting for the puck, whoever mashes the fastest wins the puck. I could never beat him at that game, to this day. Okay. I think that's enough for this first controller. Let me move this cord. Okay. Like I said, I did not own an SNES, but I did own a Nintendo 64. This wacky looking three-pronged controller. Now I know we missed the SNES, but basically what that controller improved upon was adding some bumpers, as well as two more buttons, the X and Y buttons. I'm pretty sure they were called X and Y on that controller. This takes it a step further. Adding a joystick. And no longer X and Y, you still just have A and B. But now you've got this almost a second D-pad known as the C buttons. Left, right, up, down. The L and R. And then on the middle handle, the Z button. Now, different games require different grips of the controller. This one I did play a lot as a kid. This is what my dad had in college, and so when I was born, he didn't have a GameCube. This is what Smash Bros, Star Fox 64, Kirby and the Crystal Shards. I think NHL 99, where the announcer is very ecstatic about anything and everything that happens. My brother and I used to quote those lines all the time. Toy Story 2, I think, was another game I had. Mario Kart 64, Super Mario 64, and again, big Zelda fan. We did not own Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask as a kid, but I don't know, 7-8 years ago, something, when I got into the NES stuff at the same time, I got Ocarina of Time off eBay and played through that. Still haven't beat Majora's Mask. I've started it multiple times on I started the 3DS version, I think, of my brother's 3DS. I also played on the Nintendo Switch Virtual Console. Okay. That does it for Nintendo 64. Next up, the GameCube. Which I did not own a GameCube, but I played it all the time at friends' houses. I think Mario Kart Double Dash was one of my favorites at that time. I played Simpsons Hit and Run. That was fun. There was this Ed, Ed and Eddie game. Stupid game, but it was entertaining when I was 10 years old. So, I got this controller when Smash Bros. For the Wii U came out, just because I much prefer playing Smash Bros. With a GameCube controller. So, unlike the Nintendo 64, there's no third handle right in the middle of the controller, making sure you can reach every button at all times. The C button that was on the third prong has been moved into a bumper position, while keeping the L and R triggers. A much improved joystick. A, B, X, and Y the C buttons were converted into a second stick. Now, a lot of games still use this as just like up, down, left, and right for C, not actually like in today's right joystick camera movement. A lot of games still didn't utilize that, although some did. My cat just scared the living hell out of me. I didn't know he was in here. And here comes the other one. If they start being loud, I might have to kick them out. Okay. I think that does it for the GameCube controller. Next up, absolute classic. Definitely the one I put the most hours into as a kid. The Nintendo Wii. Now the Wii introduced motion controls. This thing looks vastly different from the GameCube controller. Meant to be held in one hand, swung like a sword more often than not. Instead of A and B being right next to each other, you've now got A in the thumb position, B in the trigger position. Along with a D-pad. fully understand that it was a new console, and not just like a Wii HD, which in some ways it was. It could play Wii games, but I guess continuing with the name Wii U threw a lot of people off. Smash 4, for example, fantastic game, played the hell out of that. They released 2 fantastic Zelda games in their HD glory. Twilight Princess HD, my favorite Zelda game of all time. I've beat it like 4 or 5 times at least, across the Wii and Wii U combined. They also released Wind Waker HD, a GameCube game, which I'd never played Wind Waker before, so that was really fun. And there are actually rumors that both of these games are coming to Nintendo Switch, which would be absolutely amazing. I'd play through both of them again in a heartbeat. What else was there? I mean, there was a lot of stuff. I never played, I think Pikmin 3 came out on that. That's because I had never played a Pikmin game until Pikmin 4 that just came out. I started playing that. Hyrule Warriors was really fun. I had a friend who owned Black Ops 2 on the Wii U, and we would play zombies on that. I don't know why. I had Black Ops 2 on a 360, and I don't know. Okay. So, after the Wii U came the much better marketed Nintendo Switch, which combines Nintendo's handheld line, which I did not include any handhelds here. Maybe I'll do a separate video for that. Essentially merging their home console and handheld console lines into one that can switch between 2 modes. Now, you didn't see on the Wii U, but that essentially brought the, well, I guess on the Wii I think there was a Pro controller, but it kind of mimicked the standard set by Microsoft and Sony and their Xbox and PlayStation controllers of joystick 1, joystick 2, D-pad, ABXY, 2 bumpers, 2 triggers, start and select. Oh, start, select. Oh, home, and yeah. So I think that was introduced in the Wii in a Pro controller. However, I do not own one of those. They continued that trend with the Wii U, and again with the Switch. Now these are docked in their single large controller mode. However, they can be removed and attached to the Switch console itself to be held as a handheld or held sideways, so 2 people can play games like Mario Kart 8 together. There are now bumper buttons right here, 1 joystick, 4 buttons, a pause button. I am really not a fan of playing games with sideways Joy-Cons, especially the red one. Well, both of them. There's just something about this. The joystick's like right in the middle. On the blue one, the buttons are right in the middle. I got big hands. It's just not comfortable. They do make accessories that make it feel a little better. Add some grips, like the way this does. Okay. My cats are getting antsy. Waiting for the next food drop. I splurged and got an automatic feeder. So they're kittens, they're growing. They need to eat several small portions a day, so every 3 hours I think I have it set to. It drops some food out for them. And now they're smart enough to anticipate the next food drop, which this next one's not for like another 40 minutes, but he's getting antsy. They keep unplugging it too, which is... Alright, anyway. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know down below which your favorite controller / console. It could be because of the sounds. It could be because of a game you like on the console. Just let me know. If you'd like to see a sequel to this, possibly with Nintendo handhelds or other consoles like Xbox and PlayStation, let me know what you think about that. Thank you guys so much for the kind comments on the previous tapping sounds video. I really appreciate that. We flew past 50 subscribers, which is awesome. I think we're at almost 70 now. We haven't hit 70. So, thank you guys so much for your support.